Hello. Hopefully, this doesn't crash. This game doesn't crash for no reason. Mixed, maybe. I don't know. What initiative level would you like to have, like Cove to have for step 3? High, I guess? I don't know. The start of class ended the relaxed, free days of summer. It didn't take long for you to get back into the swing of the school year routine. Schedules and homework became the new normal. Derek wasn't around nearly as much. What happened there? I guess Twitch. With school and after school activities, there weren't many opportunities for him to take a trip out of your neighborhood. Out to your neighborhood. Sometimes you'd hear that he was at a training camp or something like that, but you weren't sure what he was up to. Kept in contact. The Jeremy kid did disappear after that summer, and no one ever heard from him again. Where he went or what he might be up to was a mystery. More summers came and went, like the waves on the shore, coming in and out. In your second year of high school, someone new started to visit Sunset Bird. A sunny girl named Terry Brooke. Who is she? She was a friend of Cove made due to them both being ocean obsessed. Terry was more than glad to befriend you two. Cove, someone close to Cove had to be good company, she felt. You're pleased to get along with her as well. Terry was tight with another girl who you had known distantly from school for a long time. Miranda Eckert, whatever the hell that is pronounced. You saw more and more of her as time went on, thanks to Terry and Miranda's own outreach. After a while, all of you developed a real friendship together. As for your home life, the Parkers also had developments. Changing laws and public perception countrywide made it possible for your moms to openly wear their wedding rings without question. Ooh, okay. So maybe this is around like 2015? 2014? Wait, when was it? 2015? Was it 2015? I forgot. I'm literally Alec Min. God, it's 2015, right? '15, yeah. God, I always doubt myself with things. I always doubt myself. Though they had a wedding years ago, it was only recently that the union was officially recognized everywhere in the US. That was a good thing, to say the least. Okay. Elizabeth came into her own and stopped being quite as irritable. She no longer worried about perceived childness as she grew up for real. She didn't even mind being called Lizzie again. Although most people just used Liz. She eventually graduated high school and moved out to attend college in another state. It was a lot for you to adjust to your own, older sister being gone. Liz never let you forget her role in your life, though, and kept in touch. Cove's relationship with his family improved over the years. Carver visited several times after that summer, and things became easier between the two. He was also closer with his dad than ever before. You knew they talked more, and that helped prevent a lot of friction before it could start. And Cove had only continued to open up to his parents and the rest of the world. He was so bright, he shone. He would willingly join conversations, make jokes, and put in an effort not to use overly blunt phrasing. What the hell did my table shake? I don't know. Cove's interest had shifted from when he was younger. He still enjoyed more studious pursuits. But he also spent just as much time on athletic activities. Things had shifted between you and Cove, but in a way that most couldn't see. After all this time, he wasn't just your neighbor. He wasn't only your friend, or even a guy you were interested in. You were in love with him. You loved Cove. You knew that, in fact, for certain. There was no one else you held those feelings for. It was strange to look back on it all. The future faded into your present, and then it was simply the past. Even the fundamental parts of your life couldn't last forever. You felt that the most poignantly the day you inevitably graduated high school. It was over, and you would not be going back ever again. From now on, what became next was your choice. You would be directing your own life. Own life. Not our life, own life. Alright, whatever, sorry. That was where you were currently. The summer after the school ended, the first summer of true freedom. What used to be a reprieve from the typical was now going to be your first step into adulthood. Alright, I'm gonna take a little break. Sorry. Hello, hello. We're gonna be playing step 2 now. Let us play the prologue. One fine summer morning, you took in what had become a very special scene, the whole family having a big meal together. Ah. I forgot how she looked as an adult. Your big sister Liz still hadn't lived at home full time for a couple of years, but she arrived last week to spend the season here since it was an off semester for her. You wanted to make sure she was in town because you had now also graduated high school. So, who knew how much rarer these moments would become in the future? You watched on as Liz laughed good-naturedly over a comment Ma had made. Her Elizabeth-only mindset had only been a phrase. Nearly a nickname was welcomed at this point in her life. Strangely, even though she'd moved away, you'd lately felt closer to her than you had in a long time. You idly scooped up more of your breakfast and chewed absent-mindedly. You genuinely ate whatever. Proletarian? What is proletarian? Oh, I know. The meal you had reflected that, and it included just about everything your mom's made, though you often made your own food nowadays. With Liz around, though, your parents made even more options than usual. Your sister had been a vegetarian for a while, and they wanted to make sure she had choices too. There they are. Oh, no purple hair anymore. Conversation had gone on idly, without you fully taking in the words, until your ears peaked when Ma started on a bit of town gossip. Oh yeah, no, I remember. And so, that's how I heard the news. Alright, now stop bearing the lead and tell us. So, what is this so-called news? Mom giggled as she cast a look across the table, satisfied that she had everyone's attention. Well, it turns out the Donalds won't be renting out the condo up the street as per Sunset Bird tradition for the first time in what must be nearly 2 decades. A chorus of gasps and shocked expressions were had all around. After the initial shock, your eyebrows pinched. Mom may considered them by name, but you and Liz always viewed them exclusively as the mean old couple who would yell at anyone under 25 who crossed their path. Your mom continued on with the story, spreading strawberry jam over a piece of toast as she did so. They decided not to take the big trips anymore. Friends and family will be visiting them at their home. That's nice for them, then. Have a good summer, mean grandparents with no kids. Grandkids away from us. Hope they're still okay, even if they are mean. They had a very full life, there's nothing to sneeze at. And you be nice, Liz. You don't want to end up like them, do you? Yeah. You and your sister crack smiles at the joke. Honestly, her whole life, you kind of like, she might be like those old grandparents.
Well?
At least they won't be here to yell at my children anymore. Lonnie. And that blunt comment got a laugh from all 3 of you. Engrossed in conversation once more, you continued to chat with your family until the meal was over. Step 3. Third time's charm. As it went, once the food was eaten, the cleanup had to be done. Liz took the role of washing the dishes and passed them to you for drying and putting away. You had sets of cups in front of you that needed to go on the top shelf of the cabinet. Short, but not like extremely short, but still short. Struggled to get them up without a stepping stool. You were short. 5'6". That was simply a lot in your life. Like, average is like 5'7", but still technically short. That was simply a lot in your life. You'd always been vertically challenged. I would hope, but no, never. That was an unpleasant thought for you because in the past, it wasn't something that bothered you as much as it did now. Liz shook you out of your internal musing by starting an impromptu conversation. She seemed to be voicing the thoughts that had been buzzing around in her own head. I have to say, going back for another semester this fall is pretty intimidating. You'd think after the first year or two, I'd have a handle on things, but no. You still glance at her, still placing cups in the proper place. It's only fair my first round was pretty general classes, and one of my architecture major was the basics. Not feel serious. I have to actually know some things. The laugh she gave was flippantly airy, but the way she scrubbed at the plates held more force than necessary. That sounds hard. Maybe I just listened. Merely listened to her venting. There wasn't much she could add to it. Your older sister's mouth quirked into a small smile. It'll be fine one way or another. Oh, and I'm not trying to scare you away from college, even if that is your plan. What's going on with that anyway? Ugh. You hadn't even let yourself think about it. I don't want to think about it. You answered the question as much as you were able and willing to. Liz's smile grew more reassuring as you did. You made it through 12 years of full-time education already. You've got plenty going for you. Sometimes it felt hard to believe your public schooling experience was over in the end. At least I got good grades. Glad it was truly behind me. You'd achieved a lot, and could take what you learned with you moving forward. Liz picked up on the silence her question ended up creating. She decided it was time to make a closing statement on the topic.
You're a good boy.
I don't like my sister saying that to me. You're a good boy, Snow. Do what's best for you, and we'll be here to back it up. Thanks, you're a good big sister. And that Liz happily passed the final dish your way. She waved a soapy, soaked hand as a farewell and moved on to her next task for the cleanup job. You refocused on getting the last pieces put back where they belonged. You eventually moved on to the new chore, but that was interrupted by the sound of your cell phone. Beloved song. You casually picked it up from the table where you had placed it earlier. The phone was a couple years old at this point, still having been a 16th birthday gift from your parents. They decided which model to get, but you got to pick the color. It was purple. Where's purple? Purple. And it was a phone. Whatever. Special charm. It was shark keychain. You were pleased when you finally had a prominent place to use the gift. The screen lit up as you gave the little device a swipe with one finger. You were surprised by the caller information that it was Lee. You weren't surprised. Wait, I said I was surprised? You were informed. Okay, whatever. Despite being busier and busier, having busier and busier lives and not living in the same town, you still had a good relationship with your cousin of the same age. Especially once the miracle of the both of you having your own phones actually happened. She got hers first, though. Tapping the accept button, you answered her call. A familiar, bubbly voice came through right after.
Hi.
Hey, Snow. Sup? I trust I'm not interrupting anything major, only some cleaning around the house. Oh, then, you're welcome for my call. A distraction from that must have been desperately needed. It's good to hear from you.
Right?
She giggled, and you could hear her jangling the jewelry she must be wearing. Nothing amazing is happening from me either. I'm bored and felt like chatting. My morning shift ended, so I'm free the rest of the day. Woo! That's good. Hasn't started working yet, so sadly. Unlike you, Lee had started dipping her toes into the workplace as of late. It made keeping in touch frequently even more complicated, but both of you managed. What about you? It's pretty normal.
Cool.
Ooh, that's you then, Snow. How's Mr. Cove Holden doing? There was a teasing bent to her tone. She was never willing to let up on what was going between the two of you. But that name was incredibly familiar to your ears, Cove, your next door neighbor, for the past decade at this point. But he was far more than just someone who lived on the same street. You vividly remember the summer day you expressed the feelings for each other as little 13-year-olds. I would, this is what we're doing. We're officially dating years ago. You were in love with him, but that was one thing you hadn't admitted yet. And you were in love with him, but didn't want to talk about that at this point in your life. Are you surviving without the boy being 10 feet away at all times? Or is everything, right with the world again and he's back? No, Lee, he isn't here. Just like how he wasn't here yesterday, or the last time you asked, or the time before that.
Sorry.
Oh, my bad, but can you blame me? Doesn't it seem like he should have made his grand return already? Plus, I want to visit soon, and he needs to be there too. You could understand where she was coming from. This certainly was outside the norm. For the past couple of months, or the last weeks especially, Cove had been going to his mom's place in Nevada. The two of you still regularly stayed in contact over texting calls, but still, your mind drifted back in the time to all the prior trips he's taken to visit her. Almost every year, he'd have to go away for a while and then he'll be back. Made you sad when it happened. You sent him letters the entire time he was away. Cove made sure to mail some back to you. And that's how it was in the past. But lately, he's been trying to see her as much as he could before taking long trips to another state. It became too impractical to do. Now, can we not call him? His part-time work could become full-time soon, or he could be moving somewhere else for school. Cove hadn't actually been entirely clearly what his plans were after graduation. Cove was hesitant to speak on that, even with you. It couldn't be avoided forever, though. You both knew that.
Well,
maybe we should switch up this non-Cove related topic. That works. The rest of the conversation rolled on. Not much longer, though. Lee had to go. And you needed to finish your responsibilities around the house. Both of you exchanged goodbyes, then you went back to what you'd been working on before the call came. As you wrapped up the last of your chores, you were approached by Liz wearing a cheery smile. I've got Mom's keys. Want to get out of this tiny town and do some shopping in the real city? Yeah, it's been way too long since I've gone anywhere exciting. Good, I'm driving. It was nice of her to do that. You had a license, but tried to avoid driving when possible. Go get your wallet and anything else. We're going now. With a nod, you made a quick detour to collect your stuff from your bedroom. You had money saved up from gifts you'd receive. After making sure you both were fully prepared for the long haul to the largest city in the surrounding area, you buckled into the car. It was a smooth ride there, with light conversation about what shops to stop at and the radio blasting. Liz controlled what was played, but she made sure to pick songs she knew you'd like. It was something the two of you had always done with each other. The trip there breezed by, and in what felt like no time, you had gone from cruising down the road to cruising through the mall. Liz had her interests to check out, and you yours. Your hobbies and skills were still the ones. No, you got into new things. Let's see if maybe it's a different guitar. I don't think it's different, actually. Still the same ones. When turning a corner down a new length of the mall, your eyes caught on a little gift store. Your friends and family had recently given you many presents for graduating high school. You wanted to get a graduation gift yourself to give to Cove. Graduation may have already come and gone, but Cove wasn't really around then anyway. You kept an eye out for something good, though you might have had something nice for him at home already. Eventually the mall was explored in full, with every shop of note being checked out. Rather than going home, you decided to walk over to some smaller stores nearby. Liz had many thoughts on the topic.
So?
Honestly, malls are not a bastion of society. Even if smaller stores require extra distance, the brands are so much more. Then your sister abruptly stopped speaking and walking, right in the middle of the path. It was a good thing no one was behind her. She seemed entirely shut off for a moment. Liz? The attempt to catch her attention was unsuccessful. Something else had all her focus. Before you could puzzle out what might be happening, she began to mumble out of the corner of her mouth. No, don't draw attention, but look. What? With a harsh whisper and a sudden jerk of her head, she urged you once more.
Hey.
Look. You followed her gaze as best you could to a large bunch of colorful teens strolling down the same path. Okay. You focused back on your sister with a confused look and an unspoken question what you're supposed to be seeing there. Snow, doesn't one of them seem familiar? She was practically bouncing at this point. So you looked over the group again, and at this time you saw what she was seeing. So, amongst the collection of strangers was brown hair, gray eyes, and lots of freckles. Arcel from Americans! Yeah, that's definitely him. I can't believe it. It's honestly just there. It's hilarious. That's incredible. But how do we talk to him? We'd have to pull him away from all those other people, and what if I'm wrong? Your mouth opened to reply, but she was cut off with her own answer to the question. I've got it. I'll shout out the name Silo, and then we act like it wasn't us. If he responds to that, we'll know without a doubt it's him. So keep an eye out to see if he looks. Okay, fine. Likely without even hearing what you had to say, Liz put her plan into action. Silo! She loudly projected the word across the way, then put on an act of casualness, turning her head away from the scene while blushing at the skirt of her dress. And an supremely awkward moment. You can only stand there's as attention in the area shifted to the two of you thanks to your sister's shout. Let's just talk. No, actually, let's see if I can talk to them normally. Let's see if we can do it, at least. Or if she just does it without. Can you just try talking to them normally? Alright, whatever. But of the many startled bystanders who became alerted to your presence, one of them was the boy. From a distance, his large eyes met yours. He looked. With a wide grin took over Liz's face, she pushed the rim of her sunset up and away from her face, with swishing back around to greet her old friend directly. Silo! Waving, she stepped a bit closer to express her intention to meet without really closing the gap. She wanted him to come to her. Who you presumed to be Silo looked surprised at the call-out. He stole a quick glance at the crowd he was with and hesitantly glanced back at your way. He was trying to double-check something. Liz remained steadfast with her gaze trained on him, and ultimately, he broke away from the rest of them. After a light-footed jog across the brick path, the young man pleasantly presented himself in front of you, of Liz and you. Hi, I like your hat. Just the simple greeting had Liz giggling.
Hey.
Hey, I'm not sure if you remember this, but I'm Lizzie and that's Snow. We were all friends when we were little kids. His eyes, what? Oh yeah, I remember. He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember. Are you why? Come on. Their gaze darted between you and Liz. His previously chipper demeanor faded into something delicate. I'm sorry, but I think you got the wrong person. You could tell it not being instantly recognized was gonna make this exchange more of a challenge. Still, Liz was undetermined. It was a long time ago. You were really young. I get why you feel like that. However, I'm positive I'm right. You were exactly the same. That face, the freckles, how gently you try to phrase things. You were still wearing a hat. Instinctively, he looked at his headwear with creased brows, not making the connection on why the hat meant something to her.
Okay.
We knew each other, okay? Oh, the uneasy smile settled on him as silence followed Liz's speech. Oh. He was picking his words carefully next time, but then the quiet was blurred by a new voice bursting into the conversation. Stella, what are you doing? The rest of the group already left. A field trip is not a vacation. We are on schedule. Startled, your head snapped towards the path. A distinctly unhappy individual with piercing magenta eyes, dark brown hair, and a sharp jaw stormed your way. He carried a cloud of authority with him, despite looking like he wasn't even 18 yet. Sorry, I didn't mean to ditch. Silo, whose name was officially confirmed, gestured with a hand to add to the explanation of his absence as the stranger watched him impatiently. They thought they recognized me as someone they knew, but it was a tiny misunderstanding. Liz theoretically as well, as Lily put her foot down at that, stomping in frustration and getting more childish the longer she was around her childhood companion.
Come on.
I do know you. Silo merely shrunk on himself. The tone he spoke was merely pained. Sorry. Oh, God, no. No. He honestly couldn't tell if he was apologizing for the upset feelings or the palpable dissatisfaction of his new acquaintance. That itself was very Silo-like. Oh, you know him? Is that it? The stranger spoke in a dismissive, scoffing tone, as if the words sounded so absurd to him that it's almost amusing, but the sternness of his demeanor quickly reinstated itself. Well, do you know me? I'll tell you, I'm someone who has to be forced against his will to be aware of what's going on with Silo's ridiculous personal life for a year. If the two of you had any importance in his general day-to-day existence, it would have come up by now. Don't bother to try to exaggerate any trivial connection you might have. It's not good enough. He's with us, and you'll survive without him. Now stop loitering in the road. It's rude.
Excuse me?
excuse me, we're the rude ones? The high-strung ranting got an audible gasp from Silo, who finally started speaking again in the defense. Hey, that's really mean. It's also true. We're leaving. With that declaration, the unofficial introduced Nate indignatedly spun on his heels and started walking speedily towards where the group went, completely confident that Scylla would fall behind. Oh, people can have bad attitudes, huh? Why can't they just get along? It's not that hard. Don't worry, though. I bet you won't have to deal with them again. I'm sorry I can't talk to you. I hope you really have really a nice life.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, this is horrible. He just doesn't remember us or Liz. Even though Scylla was very important to her. And that was it. His final parting words given. Scylla left the two of you behind to catch up with his own life that he had to go live. Liz watched his exit, stunned, only to frown when it hurt her that he was really gone as quickly as he appeared. It happened so fast that he hadn't even been able to get a word in. She sighed, all the energy she built up releasing with a breath. I could have told him his last name is Fields. His birthday is October 30th. That would have proved it, but no. Still good up to be dumb. Whoever Nate is, he sucks. I'm sorry, Liz. You felt so bad for your big sister. Yeah, he had been such a close friend in her early years, and their reunion was completely ruined. Aren't you running after him? Liz merely shook her head, pushing off childish thoughts. I think we could leave it there. Thanks. He's in the middle of his high school field trip, and it was already enough being able to see him. There's something reassuring about witnessing firsthand that he's still out there, enjoying his own part of the world. So, if given the chance, I could have a few words with him about the company he's got. She laughed, but you could tell there wasn't much humor to it. She was mad at the guy, even if she was happy to let Silo go. Who knows, maybe Silo decides to tell his parents about it, like, some two people, like, called me over to tell me that they knew them. Their names were, like, Snow and Liz. But I don't even know, and maybe their parents are like, oh my god, how did you not recognize them? And they're like, wait, what? It's like, they were your childhood friends. You liked Liz a lot. Like, oh, we didn't even remember. That sucks. That sucks. Maybe they're only with each other because of this trip, and it's not usually how things are.
Right?
True, we can only hope the same for him as he did for us. Have a nice life, Silo. We'll miss you. Liz smiled at you. It had the self-confidence you knew so well from her. Come on, little baby bro. Let's finish our own trip. Yeah. No matter how either of you really felt about the occurrence, it was something you simply had to accept. People you know just disappeared and reappear at the most unexpected ways. Two of you enjoyed what remained of your outing until it was time to return home. By the time you arrived back, the sun was already beginning to set. You arched your back as you stretched your arms towards the ceiling. While it had been a good day, it had enough activity to cover the entire week. Liz tried to hide a yawn behind her hands. You weren't the only one feeling bored now. I'll be heading up to your room, the guest room, since mine stopped being available as soon as I was at the door. Her tone was light. She had quite a lot to say on the subject when you first taken over her bigger room after she left for college. But there have been many trips back home for her since then. The room was hasn't been hers for years. It was more of a running joke now that she continued bringing up the topic to this day. Let it go, Liz. Never. A small laugh was shared between you and your older sister. You better believe you'll be back in the guest room when you've gotten your own place, and we're both in town for a visit. Sure. Your sarcasm won't save you here. I'm taking that as an agreement. She flashed her familiar grin. You couldn't help but feel glad she was back around, even if it was temporary. With that, she plodded off to the spare room. You were ready to do the same. Moving into the new space was your first opportunity to decorate from scratch. There we go, design my room. Purple. Yeah, I remember I liked this one a lot. Okay. Okay. Left. Okay. I think that's done. Let me save real quick. I know what's gonna happen. You were really satisfied with the feel of your tiny part of the world. As your thoughts drifted, you tried to bite down on another yawn. It was no good. Your bed was completely lodged in your mind. All you can think about was collapsing. Can you stop talking about yawning? You trudge up to the stairs to your room. Stepping inside, you close the door behind you, blocking the rest of the house. When you turned back around, you realized you were not alone there. Comfortably perched on the windowsill was someone very familiar to you. All right. Cove Holden. What? The shock knocked you all out of words. Surprise. His tone was easy and relaxed. It certainly was a surprise. You hadn't expected him to be within the state. Never mind your own house. Hadn't answered how he had suddenly appeared back in Sunset Bird. Though, to be fair, you'd been too astounded to ask the question. Thankfully, Cove took the hint of your stunned expression and began to explain.
So...
I got in about 50 minutes ago. No one was home, so I figured I'd come in the usual way. You fucking intruder. The window. A small smile formed on his face. You were still staring at him, unable to blink in case he disappeared. You could still barely believe that he was really there, merely feet away from you. I left my bag in your backyard. Oh, that's alright. That was when you truly understood. Cove had come straight to you upon getting back to town. you were his first port of call, taking procedures above all else. Even though you hadn't been in when he called, Cove had ensured that he'd see you at the earliest opportunity, rather than allowing his plans to change. Yeah, just imagine just still just being shocked. Ran to Cove. Every second away from him was a moment too long. As you approach, Cove quickly hopped from the windowsill to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. Kiss! Yes. Ah! Instantly began to close his eyes as your face began in closer to his. Lips. He met you partway, and the two of you shared a gentle greeting kiss. Then you stepped back a bit. Go rub the side of his head and furtively glanced down. Though he couldn't stop getting a little nervous still, he was beaming. I missed you. Even if he hadn't said it outright, you would have gotten the message from his body language. Cove was grinning widely, his raised cheeks bearing his eyes, which gleamed like hidden gems. But he looked at you as if you were the most exciting treasure of all. Obviously, it was tripping good. Cove's brow creased as he considered your question. He leaned in and kissed you again! After a long moment, he broke the kiss and tilted his face back enough to speak, but not enough for your forehead stop touching. But not so much that your forehead stopped touching. Yeah, that was never be part again, okay? He said absolutely as a joke, an exaggeration, something that wasn't a real request, of course, yet, despite all that, it felt real. Your heart hammered in your chest, your head swam, cast adrift on a tide of thoughts and adrenaline. Cove smiled as if offering a silent apology for a sudden onslaught of tenderness, but he let the words proudly hang in the air all the same. Cove told you about how his trip back had gone. Soon you'd even recovered enough to actually listen. His mom was doing really well. She had a project in the works that she was really thrilled about. As a result, Cove was going to be sticking around in Sunset Burr for the time being. Things were settled, as much as they ever could be. With Cove back once more, you felt at ease. Oh, there we go. Cove stretched his arms out over his head, his eyes on the windowsill and the world beyond. The sun had set while you were busy reuniting.
Well,
should probably get my stuff and see Dad. He glanced over to you with a familiar, expectant look. Want to come with me? You know I do.
cool.
Go. Cool. Cove began to head to your bedroom door. I'm gonna follow him. I don't think I ever did that. No, I did. No, I have. The two of you went casually down to the ground floor of your house. And all the excitement of Cove's return, he had even remembered the gift you prepared when he got back. It would be best to give him now before you left your house. Can you wait here for a while? I've got you something. Cove tilted his head, intrigued.
Really?
Really? Wait a fucking minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh wait, can I still do it? Can I still do it? Okay, no, I can still do it. The gift you chosen hadn't been something you could buy. It was... Oh no, I can't do the money. I think there was a $20 you could give. Can I do it? What? I'm gonna take a quick little detour. A quick little detour. Oh, shit. Ah, damn it. Well, we'll just do it. We'll just give him the shell. orange shell he'd been entranced with since you were kids. You quickly went up to your room to collect the shell. You knew exactly where to find it. It had been housed in the same box since you were a little kid. After all, taking great care, you extracted it from the case. Though it had been a long time since you'd taken it out, the grooves were as familiar as to your fingertips as the opening line of your favorite song was to your ears. Cove had admired this shell ever since he first saw it, declaring it to be the best of all your treasures. Despite that, he never accepted your offers to take it. You hoped that might change tonight. You closed your hand around the shell, not wanting Cove to see it until you were ready, and headed downstairs. You were back in front of Cove. You cautiously lifted your arm up. He looked on curiously as you uncurled your fingers to show him the gift. Please take it, or I'll have to smuggle it into your house. I really want you to have it. Cove stared down at the familiar shell nestled in your palm. His mouth parted, though no words came out. He drew his eyes up to meet yours silently and found the answer to whatever question he couldn't speak. Put his hands over yours and broke the silence. Okay. It was as quiet as a whisper. His fingers were as gentle as his words, brushing against your palm as he took the shell from your grasp. I don't know if I remember him crying or something like that. He cradled it against his chest and smiled at you, his eyes bright. I'll keep it forever. He reverently laid the gift stately off the counter. He didn't even turn to face you back once he had ensured it was secure. Yeah. Who knows, maybe I'm gonna cry seeing him do that. Alright. Though his face was angled away from you, you caught his eyelashes fluttering as if batting away tears. His throat bobbed as he swelled, bubbling emotions. You knew that Cove could be sentimental. The gift and all the memories and feelings tied up in it seemed to have taken a toll on him. He began to sniffle. He felt the need to reach out. Cove, I can't. Snow, I don't know what to do. He firstly scrubbed at his eyes. He was trying to push the tears that threatened to spill back in. Oh, Cove, is okay? Do you need to cry? No. Nevertheless, the tears began to spill down his cheek. Even as he wiped them away, more took his place.
Bye.
Thank you. His voice quavered as he spoke. Cove reached out. Gladly stepped toward to meet him. He laid his warm hands around your cheeks and brought his lips to you. You kissed Cove until the need for air finally worn out. Head spinning, you were glad of the security of Cove's hands. Even after your lips had parted, Cove remained close, his hands still framing your face. You didn't need words as you quietly accepted his appreciation. Cove let out a steady breath. It was far removed from the shaky gasp had accompanied his sniffles. The tears had dried. His eyes were a little red, but open and at peace once again. He smiled, fully recovered from the emotion that had overcome him. You're really seriously nice to me, he smiled back. I have no right to call anyone too nice. Cove brushed his hands against the pale ghost of a scar on his arm. He was at a loss for what to do now. The clock ticked away, counting the seconds of silence. Once you had a chance to settle your thoughts, you figured you tell Cove the intriguing news. Oh, I have to tell you, never guess who I saw today. Oh shit. Self-voicing disabled? Self-voicing disabled. No. You didn't give Cove a chance to reply. There was seriously...
Self-voicing disabled.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. You didn't give Cove a chance to reply. There seriously was no way that he'd figure it out. Silo.
Huh?
Silo? Cave repeated his name, his expression blank, from when we were kids. Cove pondered for a moment, then snapped his fingers. Oh, he was the freckly boy from the first summer, right? The one who moved. Yeah, the guy was named Silo, and he just looked like Silo from back then. He was wearing this hat still. But he had no idea who I was and ran off somewhere. Cove frowned. That's, Oh no. Bet I missed it, though. You knew him better than I did. That was definitely true. Not only had Cove known Silo for a shorter period of time, but he and Silo had never quite gotten along. Not that they were enemies either, just kids who only ever got together because of the other people who they both knew. I wonder what Silo is up to these days. I don't have any idea, he didn't say much.
Oh.
Oh well. That was everything you had on that news item. So you moved on to the next big update. Oh, you know the mean old neighbors, the ones who'd always yell at us? He grins, recalling those particular memories of back in the day was not pleasant even for someone as nostalgic as him. Yeah, they're not coming. They didn't rent the condo this summer. Cove's jaw dropped. You didn't blame him. The elderly couple had been an institution for as far back as you can remember, long predating Cove's arrival. I want to make sure I don't have any texts or something like that. Oh, sorry. Even now, as a teenager, you found your neck prickling. You found your neck prickling as you walked by their condo, half expecting a scolding for breathing the wrong way in the vicinity of their vacation home. It was strange to think that, coming to an end. Wow. Cove blinked, probably struggling with the idea in the same way you had. Didn't see it coming. People being gone, people coming back. It feels like I've missed a lot. This has been a busy summer already. Well, I hadn't missed the fireflies. They haven't shown up yet. Well, that's something. And we better not get left behind. There's still stuff to do. You nodded. The two of you headed out and traced the most familiar path you'd ever walked, the trip across the road to Cove's house. It seemed that no sooner had the night begun than it was already at the end, and the dawn of the new day was soon upon you. The next morning, your belly was full of breakfast, and you were in a pleasant mood. You hoped the rest of the day followed suit. Later, you were meeting up with your friends, Cove, Miranda, and Terry, to go into town. It was all on short notice, but that was because everyone was just so excited that Cove was finally back home. Having a nice daydream, you blinked, pushing all your thoughts away and returning to reality. Mom was watching you with a teasing smile.
Alright.
What's on the agenda today? I'm meeting up with some people. Well, I hope you and your friends have fun. Don't get into too much trouble. I want some trouble. She winked at you, and you knew both of your moms wanted you to enjoy every bit of the summer before all the big changes started. I'll try.
That'd be great.
But before you go gallivanting around the town, could you bring them all in and finishing up putting the dishes away over there? Alright, thanks very much. As soon as you were outside the front door, you couldn't help but see Cove and his dad standing in the middle of the road, around in the road. They noticed you too. Hey there, Snow. Oh, his hair is like parted in the middle. Instead of like all of this over here. Hey there, Snow. Hi, good timing. You should come join us. Ooh. Kiss him in front of his dad. On the lips. Cove welcomed you as you stepped closer. You cupped the side of his face with one hand, staring into his eyes, and went on your tiptoes, leaning in. met you halfway, placing a hand on your lower back, and brought you even closer. It was quicker than you wanted it to be, especially now that you were getting lost in the moment. Your hand slid from his cheek to his chest when you parted. His lips pulled into a satisfied smile, and he looked at you with stars in his eyes. Yeah. You noticed Mr. Holden was taking in the scene of you and Cove with a self-satisfied smile. Cove followed your line of sight and shot his dad an unimpressed look. For a moment, Mr. Holden seemed like he had a thought dancing at the tip of his tongue, but decided to keep it to himself. Good. So, what are you up to today? Me and Cove are meeting some friends later. We're gonna paint the town red. Exciting. They won't know what him. Cove shook his head disapprovingly, but you knew him well enough to tell that he was entertained by your notion. Yawning, Mr. Horn stretched his arms over his head. My boy and I have been waiting around to see what the new neighbors are like. It was definitely his idea. I don't know what you're not interested in. I don't know how you're not interested in this. It's big news. Especially it'd be only polite to greet the new folks in town. Maybe it'll be a single dad and his son. Ko snorted an airy laugh at the suggestion. You think we'll have some competition? Nah. For several moments, Mr. Horn was unable to answer. He was still chuckling when he put his hands on his hips and tried to compose himself.
Nah.
Absolutely not. We're the #1 father-son duo in this town, and no one's gonna change that. Mr. Horn took one more glance at the current vacant building and sighed dramatically. When he turned back to you and Cove, his whole body seemed deflated. There's no sign of them, and I need to head over to work soon. Cove gave his dad a few reassuring pats on his back. Can't speak. Okay, I promise to keep an eye out. I can text you if anything happens. Really?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, only until I have to meet up with Terry and Miranda. Would that still work? With a wide grin breaking out on his face, Mr. Horn looked absolutely thrilled to have his nosiness enabled. That works. Why do you have to enable him? Why? Oh God, why do you have to? Oh God, we're all doomed. Oh, we're screwed. That works. He moved to firmly place a hand over both Cove's shoulders, fixing his child with a firm stare. Son, you are my true ally in this world. Mr. Holden stood up straighter, letting Cove go. He looked reinvigorated. Okay, with that settled, I'll go make some money. That's always been the one thing I do best. Mr. Holden headed off to the garage with a big wave. Ko smiled the whole time you both watched his dad leave. Ko's dad was kind of a bother. I've never said that. You really like Mr. Holden. You had for a long time. As soon as he was out of your sight, Ko sighed lightly. Are you okay? Yeah, just not looking forward to waiting. Guess I'll be hanging around the street for a while. Good luck. See you later. Bye. I'll stick around to see the new neighbor. I can wait for you. I can wait with you. You won't abandon Cove, there to wither on the street with boredom. Really? Need to put down the Rubik's Cube. Of course, I like keeping you company, remember? He stared at you a moment, smiling softly and thinking about his response.
Me too.
I like that too. Ko put his hands on your shoulders. His thumbs absentmindedly moved in a smooth circle. The look in his eyes was much firmer. He was serious. Snow, you're my true ally in this world. I got a fair amount of chuckles from you. He grinned, the stoicism fading into amusement.
Thank you.
You're always good to me. You're lucky to have me. Teasingly, Cove raised an eyebrow. You're the most lucky guy I know, says the bird, luckiest. For a moment, you weren't sure if Cove was laughing at your declaration in the moment. Or that you momentarily forgot the word luckiest. Either way, you didn't mind. The smile on his face reached his eyes and it made you feel electric. And then he let go of you. Cove stepped over to his front porch steps, lazily taking a step and leaning back on his arms. The watch begins. Nodding in agreement, you joined Cove on the front porch steps. You both sat there in a comfortable familiarity as you settled in for the waiting game on the new attendants. The neighborhood was quiet and you sighed contentedly, closing your eyes and feeling the light breeze. Eventually, you both perked up at the sound of the car. Is this it? A taxi followed the noise, turning onto your street. I remember who this is. Yes, because oh wait, I can't say the spoiler. I can't say it. Fucking god damn it. God damn it. Maybe that's a spoiler in itself, me saying that. God damn it. Cove's eyebrows raised at the sight. He sat up straight on the stoop.
Oh?
It has to be them, right? The people who come out here, live here. It has to be. Now that they were here, you couldn't help but feel just a bit curious. You wondered what kind of person would be living in this neighborhood for the summer. I really wonder who exactly this is. Maybe a loser from Oregon. You know, just some loser from Oregon. Some rich asshole kid from Oregon. Probably. Named Baxter. The taxi pulled to a stop as you expected in front of the now empty condo. It was the same side of the street as your house, a few buildings further up. Without getting to his feet, Cove tried leaning and tilting his head to get a view of the passenger door. As it opened, a single occupant exited the cab. Huh? You could feel what Cove was in that exact moment. After the last renters, this new visitor was definitely not what you expected. There is Baxter. There he is. I don't remember him having like orangish eyes there. Why the I don't even remember this kind of design for his shirt. Oh wait. I even see these. I never really, I don't think I ever looked at his design really. It was a young man, has to be close to your age. He was dressed fully in an electric black, white, and gray outfit. Even his side-swooping hair matched the scheme. The only other pop of color was something that couldn't easily be fashioned into submission. A pair of dark brown eyes. Brown. It was brown, right? What is it here? Which you caught when he looked over at his audience. Hello, folks, and who might you be? We're the neighbors. The smile already prominent on his face curled further. It was cocky. Yeah. And he's always very... I'm sorry, I'm thinking about something else. But you didn't get the impression it meant something at first. Hallelujah. You and Cove should have familiar work with one another, bewildered even further. The color-coordinated man left it there. However, with a firm click, he shut the door of his ride, then turned his back to you to retrieve a large, unsurprisingly black suitcase out of his trunk. Honestly, just his black and white scheme just makes me think Unis Honest. Continuing on with his own business, he strolled forward and lightly tapped on the driver's side window with his knuckles, asking for them to roll down. When it opened, he leaned down and rested his arm on the edge. He assumed he was thanking the driver for getting him there, considering he slipped them a tip during the brief chat. Yeah, he's a nepo baby, basically. His family is rich. He's rich. Okay. They shook hands, and then he pushed himself up and away from the taxi, with both arms giving the driver room to leave. Honestly, I can remit, like, a lot of these things, like, I'm still thinking about the movie. I want to make a movie of this. God damn it. Like, make my studio called Your Imaginary Studios. Make movies based on visual novels. And this is one. I'm thinking about the scenes and stuff and how everything works. The taxi pulled away, rolling carefully down the road and out of sight around a corner. The new renter had officially arrived. There he is. He left his suitcase on the ground, out of the way of the street, and sauntered over your way with the confidence of someone who had been invited to join. I'm gonna give spoilers for Our Life Now and Forever. If you don't want it, this is when not yeah. I'm gonna change this. Nepo bitch. Nepo bitch. I will do this whenever I am done giving spoilers for Our Life Now and Forever. With Baxter there, it's so weird to like know where basically seeing him with like Chew and Darren and us and Tamarak and basically how he was there and like hearing his own life before and seeing him now. It's so strange. It is so strange, and I love it. It's just like you get a different view on things. You get a different view on things, and I love that. Basically just seeing him in Oregon. Basically he's in this private school coming to visit his friends, Chew and Darren, the boy group, and just seeing him just come over here, I guess. Does he still have contact with Chew and Darren, or does he not? I'm just thinking about a lot of things and stuff like that. It's so strange. Maybe there was some like text about his personal life I've never saw, or maybe if you buy the DLC you'll get that. I don't know. There's someone who had been invited to join. Wait, hold on, let me read that. He left his suit. Oh wait, I forgot. Fuck. Nepo baby. He's a Nepo baby. All right. Let's play this. He left his suitcase on the ground, out of the way of the street, and sauntered over your way with the confidence of someone who had been invited to join. Cove stood up to greet this person. You followed suit.
Excellent.
I'm Baxter Ward. It's nice to meet you, neighbors. You were standing on the side he was approaching from. When Baxter got close enough, he offered his hand to you first. Oh, should I hope he's not gonna be like, hug. Baxter didn't miss a beat and embraced you around the back, giving a light squeeze. Welcome to Sunset Bird, Baxter. I'm Snow. Hi, Snow. I am quite keen on getting to know you better this summer. You'd be good friends. From your side, Cove made a spurring noise. And you are? He lifted his hands out to Cove next. Cove shook his hand, still eyeing Baxter carefully. I'm Cove. Uh, Baxter's whole demeanor lit up for unknown reasons. His eyes shone as he studied Cove for a
Really?
moment. Wait, is that a nickname or your real name? It's just my name. Cove spoke mildly, having given the explanation many times in the past, but it clearly charmed Baxter all the same. He tossed his head to the side with a laugh. Your parents knew exactly what they were doing. I can't imagine a more fitting name for the face I'm seeing. Cove. That's gorgeous. Just imagine doing this. Cove. That's gorgeous. It's really not. Hey, Ollie, I get to fluster him. Hey, Ollie, I get to fluster him. I'm sorry, did I do that? It wasn't my intention. Baxter grinned welcomingly. Did I ever do this? Yes. The entire conversation brought a burning red blush to Cove's face, and he couldn't make eye contact with either of you. You notice that Baxter looked apologetic over Cove's increased discomfort. I'm sorry, it wasn't intended to be more than it did. I like your name, but you don't have to mind that. I'm basically against stepping on anyone's toes. Patently against stepping on anyone's toes. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about things. The spoilers! Thinking about the spoilers. Like, I wonder if you should play Our Life Now and Forever first, or you should play Our Life Begins and Always first. I don't know. He chuckled to himself. It seemed like there was some extra meaning hidden behind his words. Hidden there in his words. And you notice that Cove raised an eyebrow, picking on that too. Cove didn't even open his eyes. To see your face is to know he had some feeling to do. He stood up straighter, striking a slight pose with the position of his feet. I'm a ballroom dancer. Hence the phrasing. Ooh, he's a ballroom dancer. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the spoilers. I guess his friend is a ballet dancer, so. I'm a ballroom dancer. Hence the phrasing. Oh, I don't know much about dancing, but that's cool. Pretty cool. It's hard once you get the basics down. Cove didn't look convinced at all. Baxter took that as a cue to keep talking. He's really bad at talking.
Well,
he grinned in a way that was rapidly becoming familiar to you. Oh, you're so bad at talking to people. Oh my god. He wasn't that bad. If either of you are ever looking for a partner, I'm available. Go to you softly. It felt as familiar touch as he squeezed your hand for a moment. I already have a partner. Snow is the only one I want to dance with. Sorry, he's my boyfriend. You're both together. Yeah, we are. As I said, I'm the only one that can tease him. Oh, that's crushing, but it makes sense. I got here too late. Should have taken a semester off sooner.
I get it.
Sorry, that's a joke, really. I didn't mean to intrude on anything you have with the offer. I don't think I've ever done this one. I just want to see what happens. Cove rolled his eyes at your agreement, coming right after his refusal.
Does that sound alright?
No, I have done it. No, I haven't. I haven't done it. I really am qualified to give lessons.
Fine.
Imagine that, a polyamorous route with both Baxter and Cove. Is that possible? I don't even know. Maybe. Who knows? I always do this with visual novels whenever there's multiple romance options. I'm like, both at the same time, or 3 at the same time. All right. That's just the ongoing joke. The ongoing joke we have. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Fine.
Does that
We'll, say, yeah. Exactly. Cove is the guy I danced with. Cove smiled and nodded understandingly, letting the subject go. After that, there was a long conversation, and Cove attempted to fill it. Someone's here. What made you decide on Sunset Bird? Oh, well, yes. Well, my parents rented a condo, so I had a place to stay while I'm off of semester from college, and not living in the dorms. There was a playful grin in Baxter's eyes as he continued.
honestly?
Oh, honestly. Ideally, they wanted to send me somewhere that wasn't too exciting, but luckily for me, they picked the wrong street, considering that the two of you live here. Baxter then promptly lifted his hands up in front of his chest, giving the gesture of meaning no harm. It's nice not to be the only one my age, around the neighborhood for an entire semester. Nothing more. There was a story you had heard before. The same one when Lonely Cove and his dad moved in all those years ago. Cove wasn't relating, still. Could have phrased it like that in the first place. I don't feel the need to keep the words of praise to myself. But they're not romantic come-ons. I see that the two of you are very much a committed pair. I'd like to be friends if we can, but that's all. It's okay. You probably annoy a lot of people. Hold on. I'm back. It doesn't bother me, I guess. Whatever. I don't know. Oh, glad we're working things out. Shifting his weight to the other foot, Baxter tried to move forward. Baxter is really bad at talking as an adult.
So,
At being around others. Ugh. It's not like he has friends, so why the hell are you bad at this? Which condo is yours? How long have you been living together? Oh no. Go sputter again and unintentionally laugh escapes you. We're both your neighbors, but we live in different houses with our parents. As if sank in nature, the two of you pointed to your houses, the building directly across the street from each other. Baxter's eyebrows raised at that. Your neighbors who started dating? What a couple of lovebirds. You're the backbone of romantic society. Honestly, I hope you never break up. If you can make it work, there might be a chance for the rest of us. You knew Cove well enough that there was a little bit of amusement in his expression, but he sighed in exasperation. After that, you had no doubts about his claims of being complimentary. You were really starting to get a kick out of it. Well, if you are free, I'd be thrilled to hang out this summer. But we can save the schedule talk for later. I should get my things inside. He gave a small nod of his head and then flashed you both with a dazzling smile.
goodbye.
Goodbye for today. Bye. Cove gave a small wave as well. Bye. Baxter then turned on his heel and strolled back to the suitcase, picking it up and bringing it to his condo. You and Cove were silent as Baxter unlocked the door and disappeared inside the house. With him completely out of the scene, Cove let out a long breath.
Well,
I don't know how I'm gonna explain that guy to my dad. You burst into a fit of laughter trying to imagine the conversation. At least the job is done. We saw the new neighbor and now we can go meet up with Terry and Miranda. Yeah, we should get going. You gave Baxter's condo one last glance over your shoulder. You were looking forward to seeing more of him. Baxter was different, but you liked him. Smiling, you hoped that he would become a good friend this summer. Turning your attention back to Cove, you pushed all your thoughts of Baxter aside. You both started making your way towards town. You took his hand. Is this more romantic? Maybe. I don't know. And the kid at the back, that's more romantic for some reason. I was like, oh, maybe that's friendly doing this. No. And like thinking about it now, like, no, that's not. That is more romantic, I guess. Because I was like, I just want to be buddy pal with Crow instead of romantic. Like, that is one of the games where it's just like hand or, like, some games you have no choice but to be romantic to a certain character. And it's just like, I don't want to be romantic with you. I don't want to be romantic with you. Alright. Smiling at him, you hooked your arm around his. Cove hummed happily in response. A little while later, you and Cove reached a main street in town. All of a sudden, you stopped walking. We're gonna take a little break. I need to go restroom. 1:34.